Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser. I'm here today to welcome you to another Poserverse. I'm wet, I'm sweaty, it's hot outside, but nothing hotter than what's coming up on this week's new comic book day. What, the 27th, 28th? I don't know time anymore. But to see what I'm picking up on this week's new comic book day and what I think you should read along with me, you'll check it out after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Again, 2 quick announcements. Wednesday night, 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Last chance to enter up here. Be there, hang out, see if you win something. All kinds of dope prizes that all show up on Instagram. Number 2, Thursday night, Whatnot auction. Come see what kind of random wild books I got going up starting at $1. But let's see what I'm reading this week. First book up this week from DC is Batman Reptilian. I really enjoyed the first issue of this. Y'all know I'm a big Garth Ennis fan. I really like the really dark tone that this took on for Batman. I like looking at what is the Reptilian, what's taken on the underworld, and most importantly, does the Penguin survive? Number 2, we got, I think this is the finale of Beta Ray Bill number 5. Again, I've enjoyed this series, looking at one of the other heroes from the Thor universe. I think it's been a pretty cool story. The art is dope. I'm absolutely bonkers about this cover, and it's super awesome. Next book up from Marvel is Black Widow number 9. You know that this series has to be good because it beat a stacked field in terms of being the best new series, I think, in the Eisner Awards. So congratulations to Kelly Thompson and the team. I love this book. I'm not sure if it would have been my pick for an Eisner in that category, but y'all know how much I've loved this series from issue number 1 in terms of how they are playing with the, with Black Widow, dealing with a protege, dealing with, ever-changing threats to our universe. From Boom Studios, we've got Berserker number 4. We learn more about his past. Maybe in this issue we learn about what makes him immortal. I've looked at some of the early images from this in one of Boom's press release emails, and it looks like it's going to continue to keep being really good. From Marvel, Cable 12, I'm behind. Next up is Chariot. I think this is 5 of 5. But I've enjoyed this series. It was recently optioned, so you've seen a little bit of spike in the value of both covers of issue number 1. Again, this is Knight Rider with more conflict between AI simulations. It's real good. Real good. From DC, we've got Checkmate number 2. I enjoyed this because I enjoyed the Event Leviathan storyline. You got a couple of different revelations in issue number 1 that made me go back and reread Event Leviathan, and then the Checkmate prequel that came out like 6-8 months ago. But I really enjoyed number 1 and can't wait to see what number 2 holds. Next up, we got Daredevil 32. Again, if you're not reading this series, there's something wrong with you. But we are starting to see Elektra come into a new role. Daredevil, is on the verge of deciding whether or not he takes a new deal in prison to, increase his chances of survival and not getting constantly beat up. But real good. Department of Truth just continues to crush it again. James Tynion won a writing Eisner, right, because everything he has touched this year has been absolute gold. So I want to, I like how this continues to unfold in wild ways. Good Luck number 1 was absolutely insane, that I'm still trying to figure out everything that has happened in terms of understanding the simulation versus the events of the real world to take on the gods. So I can't wait to see what happens in issue number 2, but Erman continues to take us on his trademark batshit crazy wild rides. I don't pick up that many trades, but I was intrigued in everything that I've read about in terms of I Am Not Starfire from DC, that I'll definitely check out anything that Mariko Tamaki's got going on that I've read. Laura Dean keeps breaking up with me. I thought the art that I found for Zatanna and the House of Secrets from Yoshi Yoshitani looks really cool, so I'm ready to check this out. We get the next of the milestone titles to come out. We get Icon and Rocket. I really liked what happened in Static and in kind of the Static Shock like season preview issue. So I'm excited to continue this one. I'm still waiting on Hardware. I think that was my favorite of the original milestone titles. Made in Korea, number 3 from Image comes out. Number 1 and 2 have been interesting, especially when we learn why the AI child in this series that it focuses on may have a bigger role to play, that we learn about the relationship to the scientist who is looking for. Now we learn about what the lights may mean on the proxy in terms of communication. But this series kind of came out of nowhere for me, and I'm in love with it. Alright, next up is MFKZ number 2. Number 1 was a wild ride that I'm liking. More and more Behemoth comics that I'm really liking, things that have come out from the Happy Tank imprint. And it's a wild super soldier story. I think by the time we get for issue number 3, this will be the subject of one of my Thursday deep dive videos that I plan on starting the first week of August. Alright, Mighty Valkyries is coming out. The Queen of the Dead is back. It's been an intriguing storyline, especially in the way that it's picked up from the original Valkyrie storyline and the Return of the Valkyries King in Black miniseries, that I like it. Money Shot 13, enough said. Yeah. Like it. I can't wait. I hope once we hit issue 18 and they think they're done again, that we get 6 more. And apparently we're afraid of clay pigeons now. Cool. Other history, the DC Universe number 5, we get to look at Anissa Pierce, who is the daughter of Black Lightning. So I'm excited to learn about another character that I think Ridley, who has been writing all of these kind of deep dives into the non-cishet white folks of the DC Universe, has been a very, very kind of refreshing way to look at race, sex, gender, sexuality in comics. That, again, if you're not reading these, then you should spend the $6.99. Next from Aftershock, we've got Phantom of the Scan number 4. Again, I'm a huge Cullen Bunn fan. This one was absolutely wild, that I don't think I've read issue number 3 yet, but I got caught up on 1 and 2. And it did an interesting job kind of looking at these people that may have some kind of paranormal ability, some kind of psychic ability, and they're being chased by death, or some other entity that is leading to their demise. Classic Cullen Bunn horror story with a great new kind of turn. I really like this psychological thriller, and I want this series to last for a long time. Next from Zenoscope is Possessive number 1. I'm checking out more Zenoscope books. This seemed like an interesting one in terms of looking at, a loser who is trying to turn his life around. It looks like it's going to be a good horror story. We'll see. Sword, I'm behind. We get Scumbag number 9, which is the 4th part of the Moonflower arc. Ernie is living Ernie's best life, trying to look out for number 1. We don't know whose side he's on. He probably doesn't know that either. So I want to see if the cult successfully goes down, or if Agent Scumbag does something to continue to muddy the water. Next from Aftershock is Shadow Doctor number 5. Again, we are looking at the life of the author's grandfather, who is working for Al Capone. That across issues 3 and 4, we really see what leads to him being more indebted to the Chicago Mafia. So as Nathaniel wants to try and, divorce himself from the criminal empire, is there anything he can successfully do to cut ties? Alright, next up from Vault is Shadow Service number 10. We are looking at, does MI666 find a weapon of mass damnation? Do they find a way to stop a catastrophic paranormal event from happening? Here we can see that some things will be shaken up, as this preview says, that lives will be lost, potentially on the team. So I'm ready to see how they shake up this story. We get another Cullen Bunn story this week in Shadowman. That 1 and 2 were amazing. I'm waiting on my copy of issue 3 to come in, but I can't wait to see if this series continues to kind of keep pace, and I'm honestly glad that I'm starting to dive into more and more Valiant tales. Next is Skybound X number 4. Again, I've been enjoying these weekly kind of chronicles of the Image Skybound universe. We get another extension of the Rick Grimes storyline. We get a nod to Redneck, which is a story that I'm absolutely in love with, and I'm ready to see what the Sea Serpent's heir is. Next from Boom, probably the book that I might be the most excited about this week, Something is Killing the Children number 18. We are learning about what Erica has to do as part of her initiation into the Order of St. George. That issue number 17 did an excellent job kind of building the suspense into her trial, so I want to see what, absolute hell she had to survive to, become the monster hunter that we saw in the original first, 3 arcs of Something is Killing the Children. We got Static Season 1, Number 2. I talked about the Milestone books above, so I'm excited to check this one out as well. I really thought issue number 1 was done in a way to keep old Milestone media fans happy, as well as introducing the characters to an audience who may not be super familiar. Next is Strange Adventures number 11. I think I stopped reading this at issue 5 or 6 and am waiting on it to finish. I think it's 12 chapters long, and then I will be rocking this in terms of reading it trade style. We're hitting the end of the alphabet, but you can see this is a big week for me. Next, we get Symbiote Spider-Man Crossroads number 1. I have enjoyed all of the different Symbiote Spider-Man titles that have come out. That it has been some of the best Spider-Man work of recent. So I want to see what happens. And you get all kinds of people who've had their hands on the Symbiote Spider-Man series kind of diving into this one as well, and I want to see what the next take is. Next up is That Texas Blood number 8. I don't think I was very shy in making it known that I thought it was a relatively weak ending to That Texas Blood number 6, that I almost thought about not picking up the second arc, but I am in love with issue 7 in terms of looking at more of the dark past in the history of the town. So I'm ready to dive in for more. Next from Marvel is the United States of Captain America number 2. I really enjoyed issue number 1, so if we are meeting several different people who are kind of donning the identity of Captain America, not like they are the official Captain America, but doing things to kind of fight for the name of good and what's right and virtuous in the areas that they live in, then I think this could be a really kind of cool evolution of different types of Captain America tales. Next from Image, Vinyl number 2. Number 1 was probably one of the most jarring issues that I've read. Now we see if a serial killer may team up with an FBI agent to help him break away from a cult. I'm all about it. This cover gives me nightmares. And then we got Wolverine number 14. Again, I'm behind my goal by the end, or by the time I start school again here in a couple of weeks, to be fully caught up with all things Pile of X and X adjacent titles. The only other thing that I'll look at is what Scout Comics may have coming out this week. It looks like the only thing that is new are a handful of different variants to the Black Caravan titled Count Draco Knuckle Duster number 1. Of course, I'm partial to this Schmalky and Growl variant down here. I really like this Killer Scott McFarlane, like, action figure variant. And then the fine folks at Rad Rapper Comics have a nice looking tribute, like, cover that they've got in the works as well. So, if you want a variant, go for it. That's all I got. Is there anything you think that I'm missing out on this week? I think my list said 33, 34 books. So if there's something else you think I need to add to the pile, then let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments down below if you're watching this on the rewind. If you think there's a series that I should just absolutely jettison on, then as well, let me know, because I'm trying to cut down my pull list again as we get into August and September, and I'll have less time to read, as I still am on, track for my goal of reading 2,500 comics in the year of our Lord 2021. Don't forget about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Don't forget about my Whatnot auction. And as always, y'all, thanks for stopping by, and have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.